All right, No Guns Life, Episode 1, Renegade Extended. Let's do it! Alright, so this episode starts off with a guy, the main character of the series, Juzo. He's a cyborg that has a gun for a head. What's not to like about that? And he lives in a city where he does odd jobs for people, kind of like a semi-gangster, kind of like a hitman almost in a way, and that's how he makes a living. He's what's known as an extended, a person who has had certain parts of his body switched out for mechanical parts. And he's not the only one that lives like this as well. There's other people within the city that also are considered extendeds. They have certain body parts like maybe an arm, a leg. In his case, his head looks like a freaking gun. They also make reference to the fact that the gun actually could be fired by someone. It sounds like during the war, he was made primarily for the purpose of someone firing his head like a gun, and he was just basically a tool of war. So then we move on. He goes back to his apartment, and there's another extended in there with a child. And turns out some gangsters are looking for this child in the extended, and Juzo basically covers for him. He says, nah, I haven't seen anyone like that. Get the fuck out of my apartment, you assholes! And they're basically scared. This Juzo looks like a pretty intimidating guy. He's pretty muscular, tall. He's got a gun for a head, and they're scared, so they scurry away. And he's talking to this extended, and through talking to the extended, he says, okay, I'll help you. I'll keep the child secure while you run away. And that's what he does. Now, he eventually takes the child to a location. He's trying to return the child back to the orphanage that he came from. And there's this nun who comes out from the shadows. And she's basically like, oh yeah, please give me the child back. And, Juzo's kind of thinking that this situation looks a little suspicious to him. He's like, there's a lot of rogue extendeds that are running throughout the city. Why did you come by yourself if you're just a simple nun? You have no means of protecting yourself. This kind of seems fishy to me. And through the questioning, she eventually gets tired of his questioning and decides, you know what? I'm gonna strip for you, boy. Which I gotta say, she's one smoking hot babe. I mean, goddamn, those tits. There's something else. You gotta appreciate Madhouse's level of detail when they draw boobs. But she's not just eye candy. She can shoot too, and pretty damn well. Now, I mentioned in my fall anime review that the same guy that did the character designs for Black Lagoon is also doing the character designs for No Guns Life. So if you remember Revy from Black Lagoon, you kind of getting that same sort of vibe. They both have kind of that purplish hair. Both are pretty hot, pretty drop dead gorgeous. So yeah, he seems to hit it out of the park when it comes to those badass, super sexy females, and he's done it once again. So when Juzo is having his little battle here with the girl, the cyborg from before comes swooping in, decides to try to save Juzo and the orphan, but unfortunately he ends up in a situation where he's hanging on to Juzo's hand, and they're on a tall building, and there's a sewer underneath them, and they're several stories up, and Juzo's in a situation where he's got to hand over the orphan. And he does that, and then he gets shot off the building. We then go to a situation where Juzo and the extended, the guy that was protecting the orphan, he's about to die. But we do learn some more about what's going on with the quote-unquote nun and the corporation that turned him into an extended. It turns out that they used him, and they're using other orphans to basically do these experiments where they can use extendeds to control other extendeds and, profit off of it, apparently. We don't know too much information. I'm sure that's going to be revealed in future episodes. But now Juzo's new mission in life, instead of being like a little hitman, a little side job for making money, he's got to go find this orphan that he promised he would do, bring her back, and find out about the corporation that wants to turn these orphans into extendeds. So it looks like that's going to be his new mission in life. and we'll just have to see how things turn out in the preceding episodes. In terms of the good and the bad, the good, obviously the animation is really top notch. It's madhouse, especially the fight scenes. I mean, I just love it. I love the gun battle between Juzo and the nun. That was really well done, and it's got this dark, gritty atmosphere. That being said, in terms of the bad, they set up this dark, gritty atmosphere in this solemn show, but then every once in a while when Juzo will see like a girl and her boobs are sticking out, or he gets a kiss from one of the girls from the bar in the early parts of the episode, he makes this stupid, ridiculous face. You know, it seems out of character for the show. So it goes from being very solemn and dark and serious to very playful and childish. So I don't know if I like that juxtaposition whatsoever. And also, this is not the type of show that's going to be very complicated or one that you're going to have to think about like the philosophical ramifications. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, Juzo's got his mission. He's got to go investigate this corporation, see if he can save the orphans that are being turned into extendeds. And there's probably going to be a lot of gunfights and battles on his way to eventually fulfilling his goal. So it's going to probably be more of an action-packed show that has a lot of thrills and chills. So, you know, it's pretty basic from that perspective, and I feel like if it is well executed, it could be a very exhilarating ride, as long as there aren't too many silly moments, which has got me concerned after watching that first episode. And in terms of the OP, I felt like it was pretty weak, actually. I was expecting for an action-packed show to have this really lit, really top-notch OP that just got your adrenaline and your heart rate going, but it was pretty tame. I wasn't a big fan of it. So, good animation, character designs, the action, as long as it's well done. The bad, the fact that they have these silly moments. OP's pretty weak. And the fact that the story's pretty basic and it's not really cutting edge. I mean, you could see this type of story in any sort of Hollywood film, really. It's your basic story, and the characters are fairly plain as well. So, I mean, it's not going to be a top-notch show or anime in the year by any means, but it could be entertaining. So, you know, I'll continue watching and see how things develop later on. And I think that's all I really want to say about this episode. Hope you had fun listening, and catch you on the flip side.